Boom! Hey! I'm Thundercloud here in the Seahorse Medicine Cafe at the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame on this Chillin Tuesday, the 20th February 2024. I'm washing away the garbage, leaving the rainbows after rains. Well, I'm here tonight to have some fun and linguistic games with you. And what have I got for you tonight? Well, I've got Henry Lawson's 1896 poetry. So let's begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which I broadcast. Acknowledge sovereignty's never been ceded by them and their continuing connection to the land. Now, 1896, Henry Lawson. It's The Way of the World is the first one I've got for you. When fairer faces turn from me and gayer friends grow cold, I have lost through poverty the friendships bought with gold. When I have served the selfish turn of some all-worldly few, and folly's lamps have ceased to burn, then I'll come back to you. When my admirers find I'm not the rising star they thought, and praise or blame is all forgot my early promise brought, when brighter rivals lead a host, where once I led a few, and kinder times reward their boast, then I'll come back to you. You loved me, not for what I had, or what I might have been. You saw the good, but not the bad, was kind, for that between. I know that you'll forgive again, that you will judge me true. I'll be too tired to explain when I came back to you. Way of the World from Henry Lawson, from verses popular and humorous. If you like that one, give it a thumbs up, or come on, give this a likes now, because this helps the metrics and it gets Australian poetry out there to other people. Hey, did I tell you? No, I didn't, not yet. Gwyn Ashton is coming to Guyra on the 27th of March. That is so exciting. Tickets are available online. Check out our webpage, AustralianPoetryHallOfFame.com.au, or our Facebook page as well. Australian Poetry Hall of Fame -Guyra. Now, if you've got an artist that you'd like to see or a poet you'd like to hear here on Chillin Tuesday, how about you write that in the comments too? All right, here's one called After All. The brooding ghosts of Australian night have gone from bush and town. My spirit revives in the morning breeze, though it died when the sun went down. The river is high and the stream is strong, and the grass is green and tall. And I fain would think that this world of ours is a good world after all. The light of passion in dreamy eyes and a page of truth well read. The glorious thrill in a heart grown cold of the spirit I thought was dead. A song that goes to a comrade's heart, and a tear of pride let fall, and my soul is strong, and the world to me's a grand world after all. Let our enemies go by their dull old tracks, and theirs be the fault or shame. The man is bitter against the world who has only himself to blame. Let the darkest side of the past be dark and only the good recall, for I must believe that the world, my dear, is a kind world after all. It may well be that I saw too plain, and it may be I was blind, but I'll keep my face to the dawning light, though the devil may stand behind. Though the devil may stand behind my back, I'll not see his shadow fall. but read the signs in the morning stars of a good world after all. Rest, for your eyes are weary, girl. You've driven the worst away. The ghost of the man that I might have been is gone from my heart today. We'll live for life, and best it brings till our twilight shadows fall. My heart grows brave, and the world, my girl, is good world after all. After all, in the days when the world was wide was when that was what that was first published in. This one is Right by Return, published in The Truth, and that's right, W-R-I-T-E, not left, right. Clark, corresponding. Rooster and comb. Here I sit idle, thinking of home. I must be grafting, living to earn more correspondence. Right by return. Clark, in employ of Shoddy Woods, thinks that we have not forwarded goods. Parcel we sent, the missing I learn, says in his postscript, right by return. Here is another letter from Bland. Check he expected isn't to hand. How we forgot it cannot discern. Forward remittance, right by return. Here is another. Oh, how they come. Treats of a bender, planned by a chum. See on the margin big letters. Burn after perusal, right by return. Mail in England. Letters for me, dear little sweetheart over the sea. Quite broken-hearted, oh how I yearn only to see you, right by return. One who will never think that I'm bad, writes me a letter, tearful and sad, thinks that I'm starving, filled with concern, sends me some money, right by return. Letter from father, sent to his son. All is forgiven, fat calf for one. Oh, that I ever thought he was stern. Money for passage, right by return. So lovely, a poem, lovely poem, that one, right by return. And what else have we got coming up here on the 6th of April? Fiore Musicale is coming back to Gyra with a set of, well, chorale music. They're beautiful chorale music that fills the auditorium. So keep an eye on the website for that, Fiore Musicale coming up. Also coming up here, regular events at the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame. We've got Chillin Tuesday, Wednesday Words, open mic, poetry, comedy, music night. You can come and play your stuff if you want here. Every Wednesday night, do your poetry. Just come and watch if you want, whatever. Otherwise, it's broadcast here on YouTube. And then Saturday mornings, we have the Skyra Market here. And this week on the 24th, we'll also have the Armidale Regional Council here to talk about the draft local plan for Gyra. And I'm drinking inspired tea, which is a ginger and lemongrass tea. Inspired tea in an Australian Poetry Hall of Fame mug. These are available here from the shop and also on our website as well, australianpoetryhalloffame.com.au, which there's also things available on the meanwhileinaustralia.com website, Gyra shirts, poetry shirts, and it all supports the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame. So check it out, and check it out in the link beneath there. All right, this one here is called When You're Bad on Your Inside, which is a sequel to When Your Pants Begin to Go. I remark that man is saddest and his heart is filled with woe when he hasn't any money and his pants begin to go. But I think I was mistaken, and there are many times I find when you do not care a candle if your pants are gone behind. For when a fellow mostly loses all ambition, hope and pride, when, to put the matter mildly, he is bad in his inside. Bobby Burns was down on toothache. It troubled him, no doubt, but you know a man can always have a molar taken out. And be all right then, excepting for the duller pain that comes to the hollow that is lying like a gully in the gums. But you can't extract your innards, they must stay within your hide. And you've got to moan and cuss it when you're bad in your inside. You don't know what to take for it, you don't know what to do. You're puzzled to remember what has disagreed with you. You lie in all positions, there is none will give you ease. Oh. And your fear, you think it's an aching stomach, is the king of agonies. You feel as though your innards in a double knotted tide when the devil ties it tighter, when you're bad in your inside. Then you send that boy, that Harry, you tell him to be quick, for a shilling's worth of brandy for a person who is sick. You make him swear to hurry, and he goes off like a shot, but then you wait an hour and suffer, and the brandy cometh not. Then you look out through the window and you swear to bust his hide, for the wretch is playing football while you're bad on your inside. Then there's mostly some old woman with your aunt or mother too, and it's really quite indecent how she cross-examines you. She insists on giving psychic, will hear of no excuse, and dilates upon your bowels till you wish her to the deuce. You'd wish she'd go and leave you, let you be and let it slide, and you'd go about her business when you're bad in your inside. But she's come to see you through it, and she bustles in and out and talks of private matters that she oughtn't talk about. She proceeds to pill and dose you, and she vows that you'll be ill till you've swallowed every nostrum, castor oil and draught and pill. And you wish, good Lord, that she would pass across the Stygian tide, the nursery, the gory devil when he's bad in his inside. But the hag is interested, and she bustles in and out, and in various disguises gives you nauseous medicine. She's shifted all obstructions and has soothed your keenest pain. Through her remedies may leave you in a much sicker man again, but she's done her best to help you, for her sympathy is wide, and you'll bless that same old woman when you're right on your inside. Lovely poem, that one. Ooh, the bursting of the boom is the next one. Delicious. Now, don't forget about the Australian Poetry Film Contest that is open for submissions until September. Well, actually until the end of October for late submissions. The Australian Poetry Film Contest can be found on www.filmfreeway.com/Australian Poetry Film Contest. And there are 3 categories this year: Best Australian Poetry Film, Best Australian Bush Poetry Film, and Best Student Poetry Film. Yes, and very excited to announce that there are also cash prizes for the winners. But in order to fund the cash prizes, I'm running a GoFundMe campaign, and I'm asking people like you who are passionate about poetry and film and expanding the reach of poetry, Australian poetry, to a much broader audience. If you could just donate $20, $50, $100, just underneath there in the description is our GoFundMe link, and that would be really appreciated, because that will help attract the best poets and the best filmmakers to the Australian Poetry film contest. So check it out down in the description now and donate today, because it's really important that we grow and help Australian poetry get out there to new generations and new groups of people and engage more people. All right, I'm going to get on with this now. The bursting of the boom. The shipping office clerks are short and the manager is graft. They cannot make reductions and the fares are low enough. They ship us west with cattle and we go like cattle too, and fight like dogs 3 times a day for what we get to chew. We'll have the pick of empty bunks and lots of stretching room, and go for next to nothing at the bursting of the boom. So wait till the boom burst, we'll all get a show. When then the boom bursts is our time to go. We'll meet 'em coming back in shores with looks of deepest gloom, but we're the sort that battle through at the bursting of the boom. The captain's easy going when Fremantle comes in sight. He can't say when you'll get to shore, perhaps tomorrow night. Your coins are few, the charge is high, and you must not linger here. You'll get your boxes from the old when she's alongside the pier. The launch will foul the gangway and the trembling bulwarks loom above a fleet of harbour craft at the bursting of the boom. So wait till the boom bursts, we'll all get a show. He'll take you for a bob, sir, and where you want to go. He'll take the big portmanteau, sir, if he might so presume. You needn't hump your luggage at the bursting of the boom. It's loafers, custom loafers, and you pay and pay again. They hinder you and cheat you from the gangway to the train. The pubs and restaurants are full and haven't room for more. They'll charge us each 3 shillings for a shakedown on the floor. But show this gentleman upstairs of the first front parlour room. We'll see about your luggage, sir, at the bursting of the boom. So wait till the boom bursts, we'll all get a show, and wait till the boom bursts and swear mighty low. We'll mostly charge £1 a week. How do you like the room? And show this gentleman the bath at the bursting of the boom. I go down to the timber yard, I cannot face the rent, to get some strips of Oregon to frame my hessian tent, to buy some scraps of lumber for a table or a shelf. The boss comes up and says, I must just look around for myself. The foreman grunts and turns away as silent as the tomb. The boss himself will wait with me at the bursting of the boom. Each 1 penny grocer in his box of board and tin will think it condescending to consent to take you in, and not context with twice as much as what is said, just and right. They charge and cheat you doubly, for the boom is at its height. It's take it now or leave it, your money or your room, but who's attending Mr. Brown at the bursting of the boom? So wait till the boom bursts and take what you can get. There's not the slightest hurry and your bill ain't ready yet. They'll call you and get your orders until the crack of doom and send them round directly at the bursting of the boom. No country and no brotherhood, such things are dead and cold at camp from all the lands or none, all mad for love of gold. Where the other side, number 1 makes a slave of number 2, and the vilest women of the world the vilest ways pursue, and men go out and slave and bake and die in agony, in western hells that God forgot, where ne'er a man should be. And I feel a prophet in my heart that speaks the one word, doom. And you'll hear the devil at the bursting of the boom. And that was first published in Verses Popular and Humorous. And the next one comes from Verses Populous and Humorous too, The Outside Track. There were 10 of us there on the moonlit quay, and not one on the fore and hatch. No straighter mate to his mates than he had ever said, "Lends a match." "'Twill be long, old man, ere our glasses clink, 'twill be long ere we grip your hand." And we drag him ashore for a final drink, till the old wide world seemed grand. For they marry and go as the world rolls back, they marry and vanish and die, and their spirits shall live on the outside track as long as the years go by. The port lights glowed in the morning mist that rolled from the waters green, and over the falling rails we grasped his fist as the dark tide came between. We cheered the captain and cheered the crew and our mate of times of mine. We cheered the land he was going to and the land he had left behind. We roared Lang Syne its last farewell, but my heart seemed out of joint. Well, I well remember the hush that fell when the steamer had passed the point. We drifted home through the public bars. We were 10 times less by one, who sailed out under the morning stars and out under the rising sun. And one by one and two by two they've sailed from the wharf since then. I've said goodbye to the last I knew, the last of the careless men. And I can't think that the times we had were the best times after all. As I turn aside with a lonely glass and drink in the barroom wall, but I'll try my luck for a check out back, then at last a goodbye to the bush, for my heart's away on the outside track, and the track of the steerage push. Okay, very good. Yum, yum, yum. The men who come behind. There's a class of men and women who are always on their guard, cunning, treacherous, suspicious, feeling softly, grasping hard, brainy yet without the courage to forsake the beaten track. Cautiously they feel their way behind a bolder spirit's back. If you save a bit of money and you start a little store, say an oyster shop for instance, where there wasn't one before, when the shop begins to pay you and the rent is off your mind, you will see another started by a chap that comes behind. So it is, and so it might have been, my friend, with me and you, when a friend of both and neither interferes between the two. They will fight like fiends, forgetting in their passion, mad and blind, that the row is mostly started by the folk who come behind. They will stick to you like sin will, while your money comes and goes. But they'll leave you when you haven't got a shilling in your clothes. You may get some help above you, but you'll nearly always find that you cannot get assistance from the men who come behind. There are many, far too many, in the world of prose and rhyme, always looking for another's footsteps in the sand of time, journalistic imitators and the meanest of mankind. And the grandest themes are hackneyed by the pens that come behind. If you strike a novel subject, write it up and do not fail. They will rhyme and prose about it till your very own is stale. As they raved about the region that the wattle bows perfume, till the reader curse the bushman and the stinker wattle plume. They will follow in your footsteps while you're groping in the light. But they'll run to get you before you when they see you getting right. And they'll trip you up and balk you in their blind and greedy heat, like a stupid pup that hasn't learnt to trail behind your feet. Take your loads of sin and sorrow and more energetic backs. Go and strike across the country where there are not any tracks. And we fancy that the subject could be further treated here, but we'll leave it to be hackneyed by the fellows in the rear. That's also from Verses Popular and Humorous. As is the next three actually. The Man from Waterloo. Was the man from Waterloo when work in town was slacked, who took the trackers bushmen do and humped his swag out back. He tramped for months without a bob. For most the sheds were full, until at last he got a job of picking up the wall. He found the work was rather tough, but swore to see it through, for he was a man of sterling stuff, the man from Waterloo. The first remark was like a stab that fell upon his ear. 'Twas, "There's another, something scab the boss has taken on." They couldn't let the townie be, they sneered like anything. They'd knock him when he sounded the G in words that end in ing. There came a man from Ironbark, and at the shed he shore, he scoffed his victuals like a shark, and like a friend he swore. He'd shorn his flowing beard that day, he found it hard to reap, because 'twas hot and in the way while he was shearing sheep. His loaded fork in grimy holt was poised, with jaws moved fast, impatient till his throat could bolt, the mouthful taken last. He couldn't stand a something toff, much less a jackaroo, and swore to take the trimmings off. The man from Waterloo, the townie saw he must be up, or else be underneath. And so one day before them all, he dared to clean his teeth. The men came running from the shed and shouted, "Here's the lark!" "It's gone to clean its tooties," said the man from Ironbark. His furtive, feeble joke was much enjoyed. He sneered as bullies do, with a scrubbing brushy guide, the man from Waterloo. The jackaroo made no remark, but peeled and waded in and sued. The man from Ironbark had 3 lenses less to grin, 3 teeth less to grin. And when they knew that he could fight, they swore to see him through, because they saw that he was right, the man from Waterloo. Now in a Sydney shop in Sydney near, the bottle on the shelf, a tale is told with trimmings by the jackaroo himself. "They made my life hell," he said. "They wouldn't let me be. They set the bully off the shed to take it out on me." The dirt was on him like a sheath. He seldom washed his fizz. He sneered, "Because I clean my teeth, I guess he dusted his." They treated them as they deserved. I signed in 1 or 2. "They won't forget me soon," observed the man from Waterloo. Lovely, lovely, lovely poem. And this one I'm about to go on to here. I'm just about finished actually. I've got 3 to go. Bill and Jim fall out. Bill and Jim are mates no longer. They would scorn the name of mate. These 2 bushmen hate each other with a soul-consuming hate. Yet erstwhile they were as brothers should be, though they never were mates to one another half so true as Jim and Bill. Bill was one of those who have to argue every day or die, though of course he swore 'twas Jim always itched to arguefy. They would on most abstract subjects contradict each other flat, and at times in lurid language. They were mates in spite of that. Bill believed the Bible story, re the origin of him. He was sober, he was steady, he was orthodox, while Jim, who we grieve to state, was always getting into drunken scrapes. He held the man degenerated from degenerated apes. Bill was British to the bone. He was loyal through and through. Jim decided that the butcher's premises won the fight at Waterloo. And he hoped the coloured races would, in their time, wipe out the white. And it rather stained the mateship, but it didn't burst the sight quite. They battled round in Maoriland. They saw it through and through, and argued in the rata what was and how it grew. Bill believed the vine grew downward. Jim declared it grew up. Yet they always shared their fortunes to the final bite and sup. Night after night, they argued how the kangaroo was born, and each one held the other's stupid theories in scorn. Bill believed it was born inside. Jim declared it was born out. Each to his own opinions, never had the slightest doubt. They left the earth to argue, and they went among the stars, read conditions atmospheric. Bill believed the hair of Mars was too thin for human beings to exist in mortal states. Jim declared it was too thick, if anything, yet they were mates. Bill for free trade, Jim protection, argued as to which was best. For the welfare of the workers and their mateship stood the test. They argued over what they meant and didn't mean at all, and what they said and didn't. They were mates in spite of all. Till one night, the two together tried to light a fire in camp when they had a leaky billy and the wood was scarce and damp. And no matter, let the moral be distinctly understood. One alone should tend the fire, while the others bring the wood. And that was published in Verses Popular and Humorous, as is the next one. The New Chum Jackaroo. Let bushmen think as bushmen will and say whatever they choose. And I hate to hear the stupid sneer at New Chum Jackaroos. You may or may not ride as you can or do what you can do, but sometimes you'd seem small beside the New Chum Jackaroo. His share of work he never shirks, and through the blazing drought, he lives the old things down and works his salvation out. When older, wiser chums despond, he battles brave of heart. 'Twas he who sailed of old beyond the margin of the chart. 'Twas he who proved the world was round in crazy square canoes. The lands you're living were found, New Chum by Jackaroos. But southern palms and northern pines, where was life to lose, she held her own with him, red lines of New Chum Jackaroos. Though shot and shell and solitudes, whenever feet have gone, the New Chums fought with eyes wide, glass wide, dudes, and Johnnies let them on. And though the years he wears a foppish coat, these old times he forgets. In stormy times I'll give a vote for cuffs and collars yet. And the last one for the night on this Chillin' Tuesday. So if you haven't already done it, give it a thumbs up, please. Thank you. Do that now. Thank you very much. And also write I love poetry in the comment box. Go on. I love poetry. Doesn't take long. All right. The last one, Henry Lawson from 1896. The Swagman and his mate. From north to south throughout the year, the shearing seasons run. The Queensland stations start to shear when Maori land is done. Labour's cheap and runs are wide, and some the track must tread from New Year's Day till Christmas tide. and never get a shed. North, west and south, south, west and north, they lead and follow fate. The stoutest hearts that venture forth, the swagman and his mate. A restless, homeless chap they are, who tramp in borderland, they take their rest noon, 'neath moon and star. Their bed the desert sand. On sunset tracks they ride and tramp till speech has almost died. And they still drift from camp to camp in silence side by side. They think and dream as all men do. Perchance their dreams are great. Each other's thoughts are sacred to the swagman and his mate. With scrubs beneath the stifling skies, unstirred by heaven's breath, beyond the darling timber lies the land of living death. A land that wrong-born poets brave till dull minds cross to prove. A land where all things perish save the memories of hope. A land that wrong-born poets brave till dulled minds cease to grope. A land where all things perish save the memories of hope. When daylight's finger pointed out back and seemed to hesitate, the fair faint dust cloud marks their track, and swagman and his mate. And one who followed through the scrub and out across the plain, and only in a bitter mood would see those tracks again. Can only write what he has seen, can only give his hand, and greet those mates in words that mean I know, I understand. I hope they'll find the settler white, the cook and shearers straight, when they have reached the shed tonight, the swagman and his mate. Well, wow. Thanks very much for joining me here tonight on Chillin Tuesday with Henry Lawson's 1896 poetry. It's been a fantastic night. I've really enjoyed it. Look, don't forget, Wednesday words, every Wednesday from 6:30. Yeah, get here 6:30. We used to kick off about 6:45. And it's a good night. And it'll be broadcast. And it's also an open mic and a comedy night. So if anyone does stand-up or is a band or a guitarist, feel free to come down any Wednesday night. All right. I'm Thundercloud, wash away the garbage, leaving rainbows after rains here at the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame. Don't forget to check out the events in the links below. And I will see you tomorrow night for Wednesday Words. Boom!